Hi, I'm Kai. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Yes, and they say that breaking up with pain medication is hard to do. Stick to the end and I'll show you how that's a lie. Here on my channel, we're here to beat the system, break the cycle, and bust a migraine. So yeah, my whole reason for being here, my passion mission, my calling is to empower women to restore and recover their innate neuroresilience. And when they do that, they can overcome migraine pain. So you ask, what the heck is neuroresilience? I'm so glad you asked because I'm going to tell you. So it's basically your brain's and your nervous system's ability to bounce back after adversity. If you deal with migraines and have a low neuroresilience level, I can help you and you can break up with pain meds. This is good news. It's the way that you learned how to deal with adversity. The good news is that low neuroresilience is improvable. Neuroresilience is the way that you and the capacity you have in which to regulate your emotions. And so you might say bounce back after adversity. What do you mean by adversity? So I could mean a whole lot of things. I could mean trauma, what happened to you, or what you needed and didn't get. That can also be adversity. It's emotional distress because it has the capacity and the ability to drain and deplete your brain and your nervous system, especially when it's prolonged and intense. And the thing why this is so insidious and why it's often hidden is because you don't know what you needed if you never got it. And if you did not have the emotional support that you needed as a young person growing up and developing, your system was stressed and your system was put under a lot of tension and a lot of strain. It drained and depleted your nervous system. Your window of tolerance, or what I call your tank of tolerance, to be able to deal with adversity started to diminish. It might have been you weren't seen, heard, or understood or held the way you needed to be when you were going through difficult situations, intense or overwhelming emotions. And what you learn to do to survive these situations, and it's what's made you a very independent, strong tower of a woman, but at the same time with very maladaptive emotional coping skills, is you've learned to avoid, dismiss, deny, or ignore your feelings or your needs. That's how you survived. And that's the problem why your system's under this huge drain and depletion. And the pain actually is stemming and originating from your brain. Recent research and development has proven this time and time again. Stick with me on my channel because I'm going to show and explain it to you ways in which this happens and what you can do about it. No, it's not your fault, and no, you're not doing it yourself consciously. But what the brain is doing to compensate for this maladaptive emotional coping style that you have developed by ignoring, denying, dismissing your needs, it has learned to protect and defend you by creating pain symptoms like migraine. Now, we know migraine is a whole person complex system. It's not just a horrible, excruciating pain in the brain, usually as a knife going through the side of the head, coming out the eye, affecting one side of your face. It can involve multiple systems, gut disturbances like IBS. It can create vertigo or dizziness where the room starts spinning. You get lightheaded. It can create brain fog and lack of concentration. Vision problems like aura, where you see lines and zigzags in white splashy lights. Insomnia, fatigue. It can create body aches and pain, numbness and tingling. It can create nausea. There are so many things that migraine can create, and it's all part of migraine. So we know it's a whole person complex disorder. Why? Because it's affecting your whole nervous system, and the brain is responsible. This is good news, guys. This is how and why breaking up with pain medication is not hard to do. This is possible because of neuroplasticity. And what the heck is neuroplasticity? It's plasticity. It's your brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections and pathways. When your brain is trying to protect and defend you by creating pain, this is because there's an alarm going on in the body. It's going off, I should say. And why is it created? Because when you learn this avoidance technique to survive emotional distress, what ended up happening is you learn to self-abandon. We also call it dissociation. But what it really is creating is the neural synapses and all the neuroreceptors in your body that keep you balanced, that keep everything online so that you don't have to create pain, they have lost communication. That's what makes self-abandonment, disconnecting from yourself, dissociating so possible, is because those synapses are not communicating with themselves. Because when you went through this emotional distress, it was utterly painful and it was unimaginable and intolerable. So in order to disconnect from that, you learned this mechanism. But when your neural synapses and neuroreceptors stopped communicating the same way and less, it created an alarm. And this alarm created programming or conditioning to this is what happens when you avoid emotional distress. Your brain goes into protect and defend, and it created this pattern of disconnecting these neural synapses. This is why you have migraine pain. Stick with me on my channel because I'm going to show you it's so much deeper than the triggers you think. Strong smells, bright lights, loud noises, weather changes, certain foods, all that stuff. Okay? Healing migraine isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about nurturing what has been neglected. I'm going to say that one more time. Healing migraine isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about nurturing what's neglected. If you've been through the typical conventional medicine and our system today, you most likely have had brain scans, CAT scans, MRIs, and the like, and they found nothing wrong. It's so frustrating. But this is why, because there's nothing broken in you or within you. It's about what has not been nurtured and what has been neglected, and your body's trying to protect and defend you and make right this disconnect. What I have found and what has been researched over 20 years ago is emotional neglect is one of the highest ranked common factor amongst adults in chronic pain. Yes, they had dealt with emotional neglect, especially while their nervous system was developing. And it's right next to and alongside to emotional abuse. When you have low neural resilience, you learned, your body learned, your mind-body connection learned from a young age, underdeveloped capacity for neuroresilience. So I want to give you some words that are the actual opposite of neuroresilience. So you can see if you identify when you are lacking or low in neuroresilience, you are unprotected and defenseless against what is going on and can influence you from the environment. Look at it from a mental standpoint. Low neuroresilience is there's a rigidity, there's a hardening, there's an inflexibility, and there's a fixed way about you, the way that you look at things, the way that you understand things, okay? And a lot of it's not your fault. It's what you've been programmed and groomed to do. Emotionally, you may feel flat, defeatist, breakable, and there's a lackluster quality to you emotionally. Identity, it may be dim. And does it resemble something of being incomplete? Does it feel vulnerable, your identity? Does it feel crumbly, indifferent? Or do you feel like you lack agency, meaning you don't feel like you have the power and or the resources to reach your full potential in life? You may feel fragile, suspect, unreliable, or flaky. These are just some words to help describe what low neuroresilience feels like. So this morning when I woke up, God popped into my head this song. They say that breaking up is hard to do. Remember that song? So I looked it up. It was written in 1962 by this guy, Neil Sedaka. We feel like how it is when you're breaking up with somebody. You don't want to break up with them because there's nothing better to go to. But if you're breaking up with somebody and there's somebody super desirable that you've been having a secret crush on forever, it's not going to be hard to break up with the guy that you need to break up with. And it's the same thing for medications. Breaking up with pain medications is not hard to do. Is this your relationship with medication? Don't take your love away from me. I'm not singing it right, okay? Don't take your love away from me. Don't you leave my heart in misery. If you go, then I'll be blue. Remember when you held me tight? This is this fantasy we have about meds. Think of all that we've been through. If you have something better to go to, you are not going to have a difficult time breaking up with medication, slowly weaning off over time. Comma, down, doobie doo, down, down. That's literally what medication does. It's like, come and let me bring you down. It's a suppressing and it's a dampening of everything neurologically that makes you tick, the good and the bad. Nietzsche, now I don't really like Nietzsche because he said crazy things like God is dead that I don't believe in. But he came up with a story for what somebody has to go through to reach their full potential. I love this story. It's called the Three Metamorphoses. He says you have to go through being the camel, the lion, and then the child. So let me bring it to you, brief synopsis, okay? The camel is carrying a burden, and it's a weight-bearing burden, right? They got to carry all those packages and bags and belongings, and they got to do it in the desert over very long periods of time. It is the way that you had to survive. You had to carry these burdens from other generations, from parental influences that were not yours to carry. And when you're carrying all this burden, you are not able to stand up for yourself because you're so busy carrying everybody else's burden. So you're bearing their baggage that's not yours to carry. Second, the lion. So the lion, I call him like the freedom fighter. The lion is fighting what's called the great dragon. Now, the great dragon has a lot of scales on his body, and they all have thou shalt. Like, I need to, I ought to, I must, I have to. It's full of duty, role, and responsibility that one must carry in life. And what the lion does is say, you know what? It's time to break the rules, y'all. And it's time to oppose tradition. It's time to break free from societal, familial, cultural taboos and status quos that you have absorbed. Next comes the child. Now, the child is the creator. And if you've ever heard this term, imagination is the beginning of creation. And what happens is we all had it when we were children, but because of what we had to go through growing up to fit into the mold of our family, society, and culture, we had to lose this childlike creator, and we can get it back. So it's no more I will this, I will that. No, the child, the baby, the little one, the creator doesn't care about what others perceive of you. It's emancipation from their values that they put onto you. And that's the influence of the power of the dragon, is their values have been dumped on you and you are no longer your own person. It's time to be loyal and figure out and find out what your values are and live by them. So it's about breaking free from the environment, and it's about attaching to you, reattaching those neural synapses that lost communication here. Neuroplasticity. You're creating Like if I was to go like this in the sand and do it over and over and over again, it would become like a deep, and the deeper the valley, the greater and the firmer and the stronger the hardwiring, the new rewiring of these synapses and these connections that were not able to be made before. And this is where healing from migraine takes place. And this is how you achieve your full potential. Healing from migraine is like a seed planted in the earth. The seed has to go both ways in order to grow and be its full potential. And you'll notice before you even see anything pop through the surface of the ground, a lot is taking place underneath. It's dark, it's damp, it sometimes can feel depressing. It can oftentimes even feel difficult. Acknowledge the burden. You learn to break the rules and gain freedom from their values, and you become a creator. You become the child. You build a foundation to where your nervous system can flourish, where your neuro-resilience can flourish. And this is where your body does not need, and your brain does not need to create migraine to protect and defend you. Your actions, your reactions, and your intentions are with agency. You have control over your environment. You have the power and the resources and the tools. What if you didn't have to rely on medications? What if you actually learned the tools, the techniques, had access to the resources where you could improve your own innate capacity for neuroresilience through neuroplasticity? It is possible. There's a link in the description. I invite you to explore, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, this song with a little rehearsal. Comma, comma, down, doobie doo, down, down. Don't take your love away from me. If you go, then I'll be blue. Think of all that we've been through, and break it up is hard to do. In videos upcoming, how you can stop a migraine in 3 ways and fast within 30 minutes or less. So stay tuned.